everyone, and welcome to Eternal Mooncast, a streaming show all about Sailor Moon fan theories. We cover everything from the prominent to the obscure in the Mooniverse. We're your co-hosts, Michi and
Celine. But first, a quick mini disclaimer. We'd like to remind everyone that this is just our personal opinions. We in no way represent Toei or the Sailor Moon intellectual property. Remember this. Look at these rules. Look at this. We say it for a reason. Memorize it. Thank you. Tonight, we delve into V for Victory, a Sailor V deep dive, with our special guest, Lunar Lyn.
Hi, everybody.
Lyn is a self-taught, award-winning cosplayer who delves into the fandoms of Sailor Moon, Nintendo, and Star Wars. But it's her Moony love that stands out, especially her passion for Sailor Venus, Sailor V, as you guys can see the cosplay behind, variations of Sailor V and Sailor Moon, and her Sailor Moon collection can attest to that. So thank you for joining us tonight, Lyn.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. So we're talking about one of my all-time favorite characters, Sailor V. Like, I'm with you in the boat, Lyn. I think she's amazing. She doesn't get enough appreciation, I'd say, in the fandom, but don't even know about her. Or it's like this little side story. So if you didn't know about it, it just passed you by. And she does appear in the anime a couple times, but not in the same context that she does in the manga. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Does she appear in her Sailor V form in the Deke cut version of the original anime? I want to say, I believe so, but it was like through a video game. Okay, please, they cut her backstory episode, I remember. Yeah. It's been a long time since I watched that version. I'm pretty sure it was in the video game, or at least in mention. That one image of her flashing across the screen. Yes, and then she's also in the manga episode where they had the pencil villain. I just rewatched it recently. But I'm really excited to talk about her because I want to give her the main spotlight that I think she deserves. Why don't we talk about Sailor V, the first volume? It's much more slice of life, I would say, than the anime. Yeah, some of it does remind me of the way Sailor Moon starts off. It does launch into her meeting her little cat friend. Sailor Moon does, but it develops a lot more slowly, and it's I think, a bit more lighthearted than Sailor Moon is. It's a bit more childish, but in a fun way, not like an annoying way. Yeah, there's something about it where it hits a certain note, almost like this. Like how there's certain like teen pop versus like regular pop, like it's a certain age that you almost have nostalgia for. Think about how they're already so young, but she was even younger because this is a prequel, right? For Hank. Really? Yeah. I know.
Even though the timeline's a little off, because I did read the first couple pages and I was like, wait. And I was like, how does that work?
Like, sometimes the way they talk about love interests, I'm like, it's like you're 20, but you're like 13. You realize that she wants this like grand love. So she's like crushing hard on everyone she sees constantly. It's adorable because it's very 13 in a way. It is. I do think she nailed it very. That's how it starts off. She's very kind of immature and childish, and she has ideas about what she thinks she wants. And then as you go on, you start to see her be like, oh, I can't have those things. So that'll be interesting to go into later. Yes, I know. And especially the dark parts. I love talking about it. Well, I'm a fan. But all right. And I'd say the fighting the monsters, especially in the first volume, is more like her fighting them for fun. Yeah, she's a Sailor Guardian and she has powers, but it's a bit more not as magical as Sailor Moon is, if that makes any sense. She's more athletic. She does a lot more punching and kicking. And it's putting a wand at somebody. It's much more grounded. Yeah. It's somehow grounded in reality while still being a magical girl. I'm trying to think. I tried to put little bookmarks in where I thought they were interesting.
And are her monsters, just a question, are her monsters of the week people also, or are they like monsters?
Mostly people.
Does she heal them?
I think she mostly destroys them. Yes, and
I'm better lion killer on the loose.
And it's confusing.
Minako is now a murderer. Good to know.
Like they're people, but are they people? Or were they just people?
They were like created for these evil intentions.
Is it like Moon where something's being stolen and they turn into a monster? Or like they were pre-created as monsters?
Recreated. And they're usually doing some sort of brainwashing of certain types of people to reach a certain goal. And then she ends up finding out who is doing the brainwashing, and then she destroys the
There's two modes.
She has her little compact that she shoots a bolt of energy out of, and things just, the beings just fizzle to oblivion.
She's not fighting chaos like we see in Sailor Moon.
No. Very different vibe. It's also not as serious as a lot of the Sailor Moon villains.
Yeah. That could
That
do
really
it.
makes sense with the video game and the way the video game is played then.
Oh, because there's actual lizard.
Yeah.
That
That makes a lot more sense, like how her video game is set up and stuff. I will admit right now to all people watching, while I am a very big Sailor Moon fan, I have not read Codename Sailor V, okay? I tried to this week before this, but I have been so busy with my market stuff that I was doing stuff up until we started. That is why all these... Don't you jail. You shut up right now. No, you don't jail me. You can't jail this.
Oh, federal jail.
No, I will be free. You will not put baby in the corner. No, I don't want absolute prison. Listen, Linda.
Straight to jail.
I want to pass go and collect my $200 in this economy. I'm poor.
I really admit, like, you have to be in the mood, just like any manga that's a bit action-packed. It's very dense, and there's a lot going on. And sometimes I have to be like, whoa, wait, what did I miss? And go back and make sure I'm understanding the situation.
A lot of questions. I'll be like, how did that work?
But that
prison. I hate you.
But that payoff at the end of Sailor V is worth the read.
You're like, oh shit.
It's like happy-go-lucky. You're like, this is so cute.
It's just real. I don't know, and you just feel for her because it sets up the rest of her reincarnated life goal in a way. And she's really young too.
She's just a baby. She's what, 12, 13 we discussed?
Yeah, because I for some reason I have it in my head that Usagi's 14 when she starts everything. I could be wrong.
You're right.
Yeah. So I think she's about 13 or 14. Pretty young.
Let's talk about parallels between her and Usagi.
Yes. One of the things, like my shirt.
Yes. Your shirt is epic.
Thank you. Actually, I have a print of this piece too. The artist's name is escaping my mind, but they make coolest art. They are a mirror of each other. If you know anything about Sailor Moon lore, in their previous lives when they lived on the moon, worked together, and Sailor Venus was a princess and she was the leader of the Guardians, and her job was to protect the princess of the Moon Kingdom. It was like Venus has been called like the twin planet to Earth, and they've always had this connection that they were like sisters. And while they're very similar, they're also opposites. I made this insane list.
A beautiful list. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is a gorgeous list. I was so happy when you sent me this. I was just like, yes.
It's pretty good. And I've never actually put that much thought into it before this week. So it's fun for me too. We can talk about similarities first, if that sounds good.
Yeah, I like talking about the similarities. I always think back. Do you guys remember those books where they had the half the face and it was like crystal or like ice?
Oh my God.
I just unlocked a memory for you. And I remember reading, it was either Moon or Venus's book, and it said in there something about how she had to play body double. You sound like, yes.
Mary had Queen Amidala.
Okay, you know that episode in the anime where she pretends to be Sailor Moon, but her pigtails are like,
yeah.
I want to make that costume so rad.
Give it to me. I will support this.
Yeah, you just reminded me that I want to do that. Thank you.
Such a funny costume.
Yeah, that episode's hilarious.
Is everybody
you can tell she's like trying to be a clock, but she can't because she's not. So that makes it really interesting.
I saw that episode and I was like, man, Zoisite cosplays better than you. Come on, her. All together. If the villain can do it and look exactly like Sailor Moon, so can you.
That both That's hilarious. You're not wrong.
Zoisa got her wig from Arda,
Arda.
while Venus got hers Spirit Halloween. There you go. Spirit Halloween. She had to like sew two of them together at any volume, and that's where her hair is coming from, while Zoisa got Arda wigs.
I'm pretty sure her bangs look like Venus too. They don't look like Moon's bangs at all. Is it not her? So it's really funny.
But she believes in her heart of hearts that she looks like a perfect body double.
I'm saying I should look that picture up because it's been so long.
I love her so much. Sorry.
Lucky Spouse, the wig was from Temu, not Spirit Halloween.
Oh my god, here it is. Yeah, it's pretty bad, actually. It's like heart-shaped.
Yeah.
Well, her boot,
definitely have to get some foam pieces.
Instead of the white grape on the boot, it's orange. So
it's orange and an orange choker.
Yeah. Oh my god, girl. I think her butt bow is orange too.
So it's a hot mess. It is the hottest of messes. We're like, honey, I don't know what you were thinking.
I totally forgot that this was a thing. Yeah, thank you for that.
But some similarities that we listed that I thought were great. Cat Guardians. Now, the Cat Guardians are so similar yet so different at the exact same time.
Yes. So I was just going to say, I did read like half of the first volume and then most of the second volume. So in the first volume, when you meet Artemis, he's a lot more reluctant and a lot more shy and is slow to reach her. Whereas like Luna's like, doesn't waste any time. This is who you are. This is what you're going to do. So just like Luna is down to business, but Artemis was like, what you're crushing on isn't who you think it is. He beats around the bush a lot. So the personality difference is hilarious to me.
Because Luna steps on him.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
He's the little bitch. That's why he so
sometimes
long.
she's kept their personalities very consistent. Yeah.
That's why Luna's very militant. She's like, this is what's going on. And then Artemis is like, yeah. And Luna would probably slap him and be like, are you freaking for real right now? Get yourself together.
He is often talking to a communicator to the boss. He's like, hey, boss, yes, boss. And it's alluded. I don't think they actually come out and say who the boss is. Yeah, if I recall. It's either the spirit of Queen Serenity or it's Luna. And I still don't actually know who it's supposed to be. But I would like to think it's Luna because she's in charge, but I don't know.
It might be. Like she's in communication with Artemis.
Yeah, she'll be like, oh, you got to talk to her about this. And he reports back on things that happens and calls this person boss, but it's never really explicitly stated who it is.
No, it doesn't even come up.
Yeah.
The Queen Serenity aspect of it might be it though, because her fairy is still on the moon.
Yeah, she still is. She's like alive through the technology that still exists on the moon. So that's why people suspect it's her communicating.
The only reason I can't say it's Luna is because Luna ends up getting orders from Artemis afterwards.
But you're right.
Okay, so it's Queen Serenity all along.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't think she's awake yet, because if she was, she probably would go find Usagi like immediately.
So I think it would make more sense if it was Queen Serenity. Right. Artemis is the one who starts giving orders to Luna, and Luna's talking to him through the video, being like, what the fuck do I do? And he's like, gotta tell them, you gotta make her do it. You gotta send her out there. Keep her out alive.
Like he knows what he's actually doing because he's been doing it a couple of years longer than Luna has. So that's a really good point. Yeah, I like that.
Because I was like, wait.
But also interesting that, I don't know, just that Minako was the first to awaken, and it doesn't really even explicitly state why or how that happened. It just did. As she's experiencing all these things, memories come back in blips, and I really like how they present that in their manga.
Oh, yeah, the way they illustrated it.
Like, she'll just be doing something and have this little flash of, oh, this reminds me of someone, or this reminds me of something. And I love that because as a reader of the manga, you already know, because I'm getting ahead of myself because we're going to talk about how this manga was released, but you already know some of the Sailor Moon story as you're reading V. So you're with that foreshadowing already there. Yeah, we'll go into that more later because I wouldn't.
Definitely the similarities of the Cat Guardians, but they're definitely different, but parent post-incarnation.
So as I'm rereading these manga, and I was like, Why do they look exactly like Usagi's parents? This is weird, but just slight variation. Like Minako's mom wears her hair up, whereas Usagi's mom wears her hair like half up, half down. But they look and act similarly. And if you see any parental figure in these stories, they're not around or involved in kids' lives. They're just there to be like, yes, these minors are living with parents, but they're just oddly not a big part of the story. But I just found it hilarious that their parents looked similar, and I felt like that was purposefully done.
It has to be. Like, yeah, it has to
Totally,
be
right?
connection.
Yeah.
I think Naoko was just like, you know what? I don't feel like redrawing. We're going to change just a couple.
Change it up.
It's like, I don't feel like with you people. I'm done.
It could also just be part of, I don't know, her drawing some similarities between the two. And this also brings in the whole Minako's main love interest in the V comics, whose name is Ace. He looks and dresses and acts like Mamo does, and how Tuxedo Mask looks, and except different coloring. Ace is blonde, Mamo's black haired. Ace wears white and throws cards, which actually make more sense to throw into me. Cute. And I love it. And then just the similarities are just really funny to me. And oh yeah,
Earth and Venus being the twin planets, of course.
yeah, I can't remember if I marked that spot. I was reading pretty early on. Artemis is talking to her because he takes her into space, and she's like, how am I in outer space? And she's floating in a bubble that she can breathe. But he's like, look at the Earth. Now look at Venus, the sister planet. And there is your palace. If this was a real life thing, that is traumatic. And he's just like, yeah, that's your palace. It's just floating in the atmosphere of Venus. And you were a princess there. I just thought it was funny. But that's when I was like, oh, they make a point of the planets being sister planets. So I thought that was cool.
It's so funny.
I know. Yeah. They go to space a lot and just float around like it's no big deal.
No, they really like space to draw it.
Yeah. I was enamored with her artwork as a young person, and the way that she made everything feel so ethereal, and her spacescapes, her planetscapes are part of that. So, and
it's so good.
Okay. And then the love of video games that she and Usagi share, and that they also both at different times and together knew the boy who worked at the arcade, Motoki. He's that older, blonde-haired boy that you see both in Codename Sailor V and in the anime and in the other manga. Like, he's just a pretty consistent character.
We love Motoki. I think his name is Andrew.
Andrew. Oh my gosh.
I can call him Andrew all the time.
The brown names, yeah. That's pretty great. He looks like an Andrew, honestly. Jeez. Moving right along. They both use a disguise pin, and I meant to bring my little prop down here with me, but their cat guardians give them their own disguise pins, both Minako and Usagi, to do the same thing. I feel like Minako uses it better.
She uses it more responsibly.
Yeah. And I think more regularly, at least in the part that I read in the first volume, that's her main. Like, her disguise pin and her crescent compact are her two main items of power that she uses.
Yeah, because how often Celine does Usagi use her disguise pen?
Manga or anime?
Yeah.
Anime?
Handful,
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if she uses it much after the first season.
They use it in the third for the Venus thing that we talked about earlier.
It is, yeah. Minako, that's a good point in the chat. Cuter.
It is significantly cuter.
For season 1 for Moon, it's 10 times.
Okay.
Okay.
You know how the episodes are episodic and very formulaic? She uses it pretty consistently for a while until she gets her.
She's speaking into places with it. The moment she gets the disguise pen, she uses it for the next 5 episodes or toads.
But
something like that.
All of the outfits are fired for
the
disguise pen.
Yeah.
I just had to point that out. The disguise pen
makes a 13-year-old look like a 21-year-old businesswoman.
I need a disguise pen. I'll never have to buy clothes again.
It's so cute. Like, it actually looks like a pen. I feel like Usagi's doesn't It doesn't have a see-through part where you can see that it's a pen. Oh, it's so cute. And I believe the top part goes up like an antenna and she can communicate with it to Artemis.
That's adorable.
Kind of funny.
That's technically fearful versus fearless because Usagi definitely is fearful.
Yes. The thing that was striking on my reread is one of the like defining things in the first parts of Sailor Moon is when Luna finds Usagi and she's, this is who you are, this is your destiny. She's like, oh, that's the fifth. And you're just like, oh my God, stop crying. But breaks the route and is thrust into the situation she doesn't want to be in and just like, fights it and doesn't want to do it. And especially on the anime, I don't remember which episode it is. It could be the very first one. It's been a long time since my last rewatch, okay? She cries and the echoes from her cry defeat the ability. I can't for you. Where Ko, she's already athletic and she's already very strong. And she even makes a point that like she doesn't cry. I don't cry. That's not something I do. She already has a stronger personality. And when she's thrown into this situation, she embraces it more and thinks she embraces it and treats it like being famous or being a pop star and embraces that side of it.
No, I can't agree more. I really enjoy the way she goes in at it. And you made me think of a fan art. And sorry, I had to find this fan art. Yes, I think it relates to what we're talking about. Let's see if I can share it. Yes.
Yeah. Fan art. 100%. Exactly.
And this is not making fun of Usagi. This is just how it begins.
What is Artemis saying? I can't read it.
It says, in Usagi, it says, no, I won't do it.
Yes,
you will. And then the word belongs to us.
Nailed it.
Really.
Yes. That is who they are. That's amazing. I feel
it.
validated in my assessment of them.
Listen, I'm with Usagi. I got too much shit to do already. I ain't got to save the world on top of it.
I just want to have my snacks and show up at school and do my thing.
I didn't want extra homework. No, thank you.
If he just really is reluctant and doesn't want to face how tough it's going to be.
Thank you, Dekazu, for that artwork, because I'll make sure to link it below.
It's amazing. Yes, and I want to see it too.
I will send it to you.
I'm curious to be like, how did you know? Good job.
I was like, wait a minute. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, even the way that Luna and Artemis end up having the relationship with their guardian. So
they have they want to have good relationships, both of them. But both of them are frustrated for different reasons.
I think Artemis wishes Minako would tone it down a little bit. And I feel like Luna is trying to be like, get out there, hopping. Yeah,
they need to take a little bit from each other.
I love it. It's making me want to rewatch everything, reread everything. One of the other differences is Minako can be not like Ray harsh, but she can be a bit tougher with her relationships with people. She's not easy to cry. She moves on quickly. Both ways. Whereas Usagi is like very sweet, gets very attached to people, loves with her whole being. Did I write this on here too? It's kind of spoilery. I'll wait to the end to talk about the love thing, but okay. Yeah, Usagi's just very wears her heart on her sleeve, whereas I feel like Minako, a little more guarded out of necessity. I'll say Usagi is allowed to have both her love and her duty, and Minako can only have her duty. And we'll find out more of that later.
And that's a hardship because Usagi does get that a little bit of extra.
It's hard also because the Guardian of Venus is supposed to be the guardian of love and beauty and the personification of those things, but yet she can't have that.
And let's talk about, did we talk about how she loves getting attention as a superhero?
A little bit, because she likes the glam and the pop starness of being
V. It really reminds me, they definitely took a note of this and put it into PGSM.
Oh, that's a whole a series that I would love to talk about. But yeah, you're right, though, that they do embrace that part of it more.
Yeah, because I know Celine also loves PGSM. That's why I was like, the way that they had her in the manga is very similar too idle Minako to me. I know Usagi's reluctant, but I think she leans into it. The more Usagi sees merchandise of herself. Listen, the last episode we watched for Bishoujo Senshi Slumber Party, which is where we're actually reacting to the old deep dub, like the original cut deep dub, because I kept my DVDs from back then.
Oh man, I regret not getting them in the first place.
1999, it was so expensive, but man, it was worth every penny now.
It's just interesting to compare it now, right?
Yeah, because oh my god, it's so different. And we're only on season 2. We just are finishing with Alan and Anne, and we're just introducing.
I loved that.
Alan and Anne.
I don't know why it was cool. And the romance story and that whole season.
When Anne serenades Darian with home on the range.
It's so awkward. And you don't get that whole thing in the manga. That is anime exclusives.
No, that's good. Because it's like how Sailor V is that, because Sailor V's manga exclusive to me and how I see it. And it just sucks because I know it could reach so much more of an audience. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Cool shots. Never made an anime for this whole story.
An OVA.
Yeah,
sorry.
like
You guys got nothing else to fucking animate. Give us something. You're done. You finished it with Cosmos. Are you going to read? You can redo Crystal. I wouldn't mind as long as you give me the Cosmos part that you did in the movies.
If they did V in the style of the latest Cosmos, I would not be upset.
Oh,
I wish. I doubt they would, but
that's all they have left, though. Like, they can't just go back and redo Sailor Moon again. Like I said, if they want to do season
rather than do this story
and not the poor kings not dying when they're supposed to.
Dang, and just they missed.
But I'm realized all they have is Sailor V that they haven't animated to work on the franchise more.
It deserves it. It's sitting right there. It's right here. Look, right here. What? We're not talking
the whole time.
Done. That's all we want. It would be an epic 2-parter.
Good. There's really good lore in this story.
Yeah, so that's I think we've gone through the similarities and differences. Why don't we talk about when things get real?
Volume 2 really explores, I don't even know where to start. There's so much. Her kind of loneliness in her role as V. Like, she's this kind of, she becomes local celebrity, and she the video game made and gets like merged. There's people that are fans of her. The police chief is
they're really good as saying, I love the police chief.
So funny to me.
And the police chief's also here's designer on the regular.
Yeah.
Like, she's wearing Dior and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I love Nako's work. She references like beautiful 90s haute couture in her illustrations and her character designs, and it's iconic and stylistic for Sailor Moon and V manga. Love it. Volume 2 really hits heavy on the flashbacks. Like, her memories really start coming back to her, both of her previous life and the people she knew. And as the story progresses, characters that you meet in the Sailor Moon manga, like the other Guardians, will just casually walk by her, and she'll get this like sense of something from that person. But I don't know what it was, so I guess I'll just move on. So all those little cameos are really fun, because at this point you already know who those people are because you're simultaneously having read Sailor Moon. At least this was how it was back in the day. Of course, I read these much later, so that was really exciting to me because I didn't know that was in there. Yeah, so you also learn from her about how she feels about those memories, and they are very sad and very traumatic. You get it doesn't really come out and say it, but you get the sense of a lot of death that occurred and how upsetting that is to relive in these flashbacks. And remember, she's only 13 or 14. I'm trying. Oh my God, I had a previous life and everyone died.
No, and then you hit my brain off on a thought. What if the reason that Sailor V's costume looks so much like regular Minako is because when she's Sailor V, she still gets to keep the Minako within her? Because she's still, again, you see where I'm going with this. You see where I'm going with this. But she's still, the uniform doesn't change that much because she doesn't have to change that much. But when she becomes Venus, her uniform changes completely and she changes as herself and as her soul.
I'm getting emotional.
If you saw this typing style, I was like, what? No. Makes sense.
She fully picks up the mantle of that role by that point. If you recall, when she decides to go look for everybody, she acts as the moon princess to protect the real moon princess. So she's already doing that job. So yeah, I agree. She completely has to change.
I think that your uniform, and I was like, there's something in it that's talking to me. And I was like, what is this thought? And then the thought is really sad.
Yeah, it's so good. That's why I love this story. It's a story. It's a coming of age story. It's a sisterhood story. Found family. Yeah. All of that stuff.
All the good stuff about it. And
Which is why I got so into it when I was probably 11 or 12, because it speaks to people that age.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you can be strong like they can because they're young like you. And man, look at all the stuff that they face, and you can face your hard stuff too. Yeah, it's a timeless story. And I get really excited when I see kids getting into it now, even though some of it feels old, some of it just isn't. It's still applicable.
Here's the thing. The overall story, I think, is solid. I think if you can just get to the end, you're in for an amazing experience.
It's just so good. It's so good. Not an ending. It's meant to set up what's to come with the rest of the story. So
it reminds me a lot of Fate Zero in a way, which I know this is kind of weird, but let me think of it this way, where you know the ending, but you don't know the beginning. So it has to tell you a good story to do it.
I like that kind of storytelling personally.
Me too.
It's the journey.
I love the prequels.
It's so good. Let's see. Yeah, we already hit how the final chapter set her up to be the future Sailor Venus. I wrote one of the things the volume 2 touches on is her complete unluckiness in romance. I know she's like really young, but it is an important theme for her as she matures and grows, that she wants to have relationship and be loved and to love someone, to have a relationship, but she is unlucky in love. And as it turns out, she is born to be a protector, but not to love anybody.
Yeah, so let's talk about that moment. Now, Celine, I know you haven't read it, but are you aware of the moment with Ace at the end?
I literally just peeked at it.
Okay, that to me is the heart of Sailor V, is her relationship with Ace by the end of it and how it ties into her Moon Kingdom past and then her want for the future. It's just incredibly sad. Like, it.
Well, see, when does he show up initially? Because he's in most of the second volume. Like, to the point, if you're reading it the first time, you think they're somewhat an end game. Like, if you didn't know anything about, story, you just think, oh man, he's great. For fetal mass, looks like her version, except their relationship's a little different, right? Because she doesn't really need the saving that
Usagi being dark.
Yeah, in the same way. But yeah, he throws his car. Let me see.
Yeah, I read his line and I was like, wow, that's a dick move.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's no worries. You got Mars. Just go with that.
They also make him look a lot younger than Mama. Oh, he have a bit more of a face. I don't know if that was intentional, but okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, here is a silhouette of him, and he just looks. Mask does the way he stands and his little mask.
He looks so much like him.
It's just funny to me.
I swear to God, in this one that I'm seeing, he looks like Haruka.
Oh. She calls him Phantom Ace because he throws aces of heart cards or something.
I love him.
He's mysterious and handsome, and he like encourages her, and
he's a pop idol.
Yeah.
For sodas.
Which like is her type, right?
Oh, this is 100% her type. This is like basically add a ponytail, we got Yaten.
Oh, that's a really good
artwork there.
I love
Put a
the heart.
friend.
Her hearts in his gloves are a theme throughout as well.
Many hearts. And
Yeah, he'll just be like, Phantom Ace has arrived and throws his card.
I love it. It's so cute.
And I forgot he like, instead of rose petals that blow in the wind, where Tuxedo Mask is, he has like pieces of candy. It's so funny. Okay, I'm sorry. One more.
He doesn't deserve candy. He's not very sweet.
I just like, how can you not love them? Well, be so cute.
Just why?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the ending.
It's
It's part of the entire series. Yes, and unfortunately we
okay. Fine.
Well, she's a lone soldier of justice. And she is that for a reason.
So the ending is like an epic two-parter. And
Spoilers. You guys should have known by now, but spoilers for the ending.
Oh, yeah. Spoilers for the ending of Conan Taylor V. If you don't want to know and you want to read it on your own, now's the time to get out of here. She travels to China. I don't know if she's like on a school trip. I'm trying to figure.
No, she gets an acting role.
In the airport on the way, she walks by Ami, which is cute. So there's like ongoing cameos of the other Guardians and stuff. She's facing this bad guy in China, and this all goes down. Man, some of this is really fluffy.
Oh, some of it is pure cotton candy.
Yeah. Somewhere along the way, Ace shows up and like acknowledges that he knows that she is the princess of Earth's twin planet, Venus. Artemis is there too. Ace tells her that he loves her. And they have this whole moment. And she has conflict of she doesn't really have a choice to be the guardian of justice or just be someone who wants to love somebody. She doesn't really have a normal life. She's already coming to that realization. She likes being Sailor V. She doesn't mind risking her life for it. But she loves Ace, right?
Is she willing to give up love?
Yeah. And they even have, I'm not finding the part where they talk about it. And at one point, he's, have you not awakened yet? And she's like, excuse me?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? How do you, or anything? And then a bunch of action happens, basically. So he drops that on her. The enemy attacks. And then she finds out he was in cahoots with the enemy
the entire time. It was out there flirting.
Yep. And her and being there, but he was actually working for who she was fighting against this whole time.
Yeah, so imagine if the mask was working for the Negaverse the whole time.
Yeah.
But not under brainwash.
Yeah, but like not your coercion.
His name is really dumb.
What, Darian Shields?
No, their name is the Emberite.
Oh,
Yeah.
Denverite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a servant of the four kings of heaven of the dark kingdom. I am Danberite. I was like, you Denberite because you dying.
He confesses he's known who she is this whole time, that he's loved her forever. That was just part one. Okay, so he is helping her. That's the weird thing. Like, he trying to help her not die, but he's definitely like, because I'm the one who's going to destroy you. I'm not going to let them kill you, but I need to be the one to do this. It's so messed up. Because what happens, you find out he knew her in their past life because he was a soldier from Venus. Like, he is from her planet.
Yeah.
He gets, like, conscripted to the Moon Kingdom to serve. His name was Adonis, which is, like, the Greek... It's like Hades. That's, like, one of the Greek names for Hades. Interesting choice of words. Tells her the whole backstory, like, he is marked with the symbol of Venus because he's from Venus, so his forehead glows with the symbol of Venus, and you find out...
What was his name, you said?
Adonis, like Adonis.
Adonis was the mortal lover of the goddesses Aphrodite and Persephone.
That's why, because she is the personification.
He was famous and considered to be the ideal male beauty in classical antiquity.
Yeah, he's pretty cute. He's from Venus. He was assigned to work under Prince Endymion as a soldier. Just as no one important, just one of the many. So he's unimportant in that aspect, if you can understand that. He never had a direct relationship with her in her past life. He just saw her from afar. He saw her protecting the Moon Princess, saw her as the princess
Got a
was
little too parasocial.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Even was like, you've always seemed a little boy crazy. So yeah, he was like just saying, because there's even like little flashbacks of him seeing her with the person that she loved in her past life, which was the leader of the four kings, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. He just being
Malachite.
infatuation with her. I'm gonna say it's a little creepy. Like, you were this bright, shining light, and I admired you from afar, but now I need to kill you because this is what I chose.
You're not the goddess I remember. Bro, sit down.
Stop it.
You
It's
hear
just
parasocial shit thinking you're dating her just because you watched her from afar.
It's so interesting because he was like, we only have one destiny, kind of implying that we're both just he's gonna die with her.
Yeah, I feel like he did set himself up for failure no matter what.
So if it seems odd to you what his goal is, I think essentially it's so that the Guardian cannot be revived. Like, he was sent to destroy her, and he wanted to be destroyed with her because he does care about her, but he has no other choice but to do this. I think it's the end goal being so that the Sailor Guardians cannot be a thing again. They have a moment where he says that we have one destiny, begins to try to attack her, and she blocks it in time, and it hits him. And it hits him, and he trips off the edge of some kind of scaffolding that they're on. They're like in an industrial complex in China or something. It always ends up being in these Sailor Moon fights. But she like grabs him by the hand, and you can tell he doesn't really care at that point. He got hit. He's probably gonna do the thing where he disintegrates. So they have this conversation about, like, why did you do this? I loved you. I don't know if he does this out of because he cares about her or to actually curse her. But he tells her, let me tell your love fortune one last time. Your dreams for love will never come true. So he curses her that you're not going to find the love that you think you are because that is your destiny.
Yeah. That she'll never find true
Love
love.
or your mission, it's the hardest choice to make, and now it's been made for you. Your destiny demands that you keep fighting. But the real battle has only just begun. And with that, he disintegrates because she hit him with his blast. So he dies at that point. He's gone. And she's just left with those words.
Scary part is none of them were inaccurate. He was right on every point.
Yeah, it's like he already knew what she was set up for, but he had his mission he was given in this second chance at life. And it's such a weird, if you're really going to tear it apart, you might find some plot holes in what the actual point is, but I don't have an issue with it. Because the whole thing with Sailor Moon is there's some greater forces out there that want all the power and know that the Guardians will stop them. And so they want to do everything they can to keep them from stopping them. So yeah, at the end, Artemis is with her. And at that point, she realizes, I know what I have to do now. And I've been feeling it for a while now that they're all out there and I need to go find them. So she knows she needs to go find her fellow Guardians. And they're somewhere in Tokyo. And together, they're going to defeat the Dark Kingdom and protect their planet. And yeah, so it sets her up for the rest of the story.
Where she comes in. I have a question for you. When do you think that she is out of the Sailor V mindset and into really Sailor Venus mindset?
I'm trying to think. I'd have to go back and read the Sailor Moon manga because I do believe she makes some like cameo appearances in certain fight scenes. Maybe I would need to go back and look at how everything happens because you do end up meeting this Sailor Venus, like the final guardian, and she presents herself as the Moon Princess. She has, which is a really interesting thing because at that point, Sailor Moon herself hasn't become her past princess self and doesn't know yet. I even think Luna and Artemis don't know either. I feel like all that memory is locked away for her safety. Everyone can't remember.
Yeah, people see what it did to
That-
Venus.
I don't know when she completely shed that mantle, but I would like to think probably immediately after Ace dies.
Yeah.
She's immediately, he's right, and I know what I'm supposed to do now. And it's almost, it is really like leaving behind childish things and embracing your more adult life and what you have to face. Oh, it's sad to watch that happen to her because I feel like she's very like happy and sprightly and like this little lovesick teenage girl. And then when all this happens at the end, she becomes a bit more of a serious person.
Yeah.
Still Minako, but I do think, and you really see that in the Sailor Moon manga when she's introduced, that she is this like experienced, serious leader that has been shaped by everything that happened in Codename Sailor V, so that by the time she finds everyone, she is already ready to face everything.
Which, let's talk about a 180 that is in the 90s anime, where she's just,
yeah, it's a different vibe. Yeah. I saw the anime first on Toonami, right?
Yeah.
When I think it was Tokyo Pop did the little pocket manga in the late 90s edition. And I remember thinking like Venus is way more down to business in the manga than she is on the show. That's a weird choice. I don't know. I just feel like you lose some of that, like the depth of her character because of that.
I think she got done dirty in the 90s anime. Yeah, I think they could have made her I know it wouldn't have probably rated as well, but imagine her as a get down to business girl.
Like she really comes in presenting herself as the leader of the Sailor Scouts, but like you don't get that same sense in the show, which is fine. I know the show's like the target audience is maybe even a little younger.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a bit more silly in general, which is why I always tell people, like, if you love the anime, give the comics a chance because there's just so much in there that gives it so much more richness, especially the character development.
No, and I think Ace and her have a great development over the mangas that we get. If we had gotten more manga, I don't know if it would have been. And here's the thing, I almost just like it the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's short, it's sweet, but it's perfectly done.
I agree. Yeah. I think it's very successful. I think it's a must read if you're a Sailor Moon fan. Like, absolute must. It's super good. And I don't know, for me, it almost hit heavier than some of the big emotional parts of Sailor Moon. I don't know. Maybe it's because she's such a young girl when it happens. And I just love Sailor Venus, so. But I don't know, it just hit me heavier that she went through all this before she even met Usagi and all the other girls. And
Still such a ray of sunshine.
that's really good. Oh, check that out.
That's something here lunch. In contrast, since they work in an anime Sailor B, having her start more as Minako.
Stars is peak animated Sailor Moon.
Oh.
I wish it went on way longer. Oh, it's so good.
I think Stars is your favorite animation.
Yes. Sorry, I have an eyelash in my eye. That's why I keep going off. My model freaks out when I rub my eye.
I'm just taking a moment to.
But yeah, Stars really
Nothing
favorite.
makes me
Has the best animation. Had the best animation team.
The story's really good, obviously. I don't know. No offense to Mamo-chan.
Oh, full offense to Mamo-chan some days.
But
Full
like,
offense to annoying Mamo, honestly. Don't excuse that man. 90s model.
can the man just
That man
We'll get back to your comment.
brainwashed, like, stop getting in trouble and being a nuisance.
He needs to leave. You need to go.
Even when I was young, I was like, God, that's annoying. Can you grow a spine? You're some
Disliked
like,
him so much.
warrior, prince of earth, and you can't help yourself from getting kidnapped. But
I distinctly remember growing up wanting to be Sailor Moon, but I distinctly remember not wanting to be
minus
Yeah.
Which is why when Stars comes along, you get this Usagi without that. I don't know. Okay. This makes me sound like a hater. I'm not. I appreciate their relationship and their romance, but it was fun to watch her be strong without him for a scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it was a different side to Usagi that we got
And
to
she was-
Yeah, with
see.
Potter.
And she was even challenged with her feelings because he wasn't responding to her call or her letters. So,
And she was in a phone booth crying.
oh my God, that scene.
And then we have to highlight this comment before we can. I just finished reading it. Second Yoshinju says, well, the animation directors try to convince Takeuchi-sama to kill him.
He was dead. Okay.
But then he was so worthless, but she kept telling him no. And then
Oh my God, it's funny. I'm sorry.
God, no, that was
It was
great.
okay. I love Tuxedo Mask, but I thought we're in the manga than in the anime. In the anime, he is especially useless.
Manga Mamoru is chef's kiss.
Yes, I think he's
Okay.
perfectly great.
Perfect. There's no flaws with
He's
him.
more involved. He's more mature.
The ground that woman walks on.
Yeah.
He would lay himself over a puddle and be like, step on me, please, Usagi, please, and thank you. And then he'd get up and be like, yes, thank you so much. 90s mom. I would throw off a cliff and have no problems.
He is. Yeah.
I would push him in traffic. I dislike him so much. This is why I have the Seiya Usagi ship. Is because
Okay.
90s anime mom.
I wasn't going to get into it.
Celine opens the door. It's on the table.
I have a friend that would kill me for this opinion.
Especially the dating of Ray. No.
Okay. Does he really have a personality in the manga? Really? More than the anime.
More than the anime.
I would need to look at my other.
Listen, when it comes to fictional men, unless they are being dog walked by their woman, I don't want it. Okay. That's why I read romance novels. That's why those men are fictional. Okay. Because they're written by women.
Yep.
Women didn't write the 90s anime. That was a man directing.
Clear that he is a supporting character, and that's it. Secondary to their warrior hood and their sisterhood and their.
He was a little bit more important in the manga because, like, him and Usagi discovering powers together
And
and stuff like
you-
that with the chalice and the wand and
And you learn about his relationships with his soldier or his generals.
Yeah.
Right. So that part alone is done dirty in the anime. They don't keep that lore at all. Those 4 original enemies were his soldiers in their previous life. That is lost on that. Name one thing he actually does with agency in the manga. Oh shit.
he does have a point where he's
Where-
like learning to do stuff, where he's got like the smoker, the bomber move and stuff like that. He does it without
yeah.
her.
Why are you making me work so hard, Tekka?
In the manga, at least he tries.
Because he's not my focus. No, it's okay. It's a huge part of. Okay, I will say, backtracking a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Ace and his interactions with V feel so much more involved and in depth than Tuxedo Masks were with Moon, because his was more of like a Chu throws rose, tips hat, and exits. Even they have like, conversations and they spend more time together as their alter egos. You know what I mean? I don't know. Tuxedo Mask needs such a mystery for so long. And that kind of annoys me.
I mean, in the manga, it was pretty quick how they figured it out because they both figured it out. They were like, wait, she looks like blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, wait, the mask. You're Tuxedo Mask.
Let's take it up.
Very
I
fucking
don't remember.
They figured out really fast
Yeah.
that they're who the alter egos are in the manga.
See, for me, it all came down to one manga image, and that's honestly what got me on board.
For Momo, but he does have some personality. I'm just answering
Oh my god.
Tekka's.
No.
That's a really pretty picture.
And it
Tekka's
gives
Clarkson
me-
is from
All the feels.
All the feels in one image.
Or have I not dragged a friend into this cosplay duo yet?
Wondered that. I've
Bill-
been
Yeah. Hoo-hoo.
Finding
That's
an ace.
gorgeous. But yeah, same vibe, right? As Moon and Tuxedo Mask.
And then, sorry, Celine, you had something you wanted to answer to Tekka?
Oh, I was answering Tekka's thing with the way Takeuchi actually wrote Tuxedo Mask. And there is actually an article
Ooh.
of what she says about it and why she writes men in the way she does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She loves weak men. That's her thing. Why do you think she married her husband, who was a hot mess? There's articles on how she found him. He lived in a disgusting apartment and like a chain smoker, didn't clean up after himself. She enjoys men that have to be taken care of by women. He is also sick, but he was in need of someone to take care of him because he did not take. She even says like how she met him and what he looked like and like how his apartment was. And I was like, ma'am, please. And she even says that she enjoys weak men that need to be taken care of by women.
Yeah.
So that is why Mamoru is written the way he is.
And I think it's very apparent. So this was written late 80s, early 90s. I admittedly haven't read a whole lot else from that era, but it feels like to me it set the example of this type of story and manga and anime, and that it was before its time as far as the way it represents girls.
It was very girl power. It was that's why Sailor Moon is so revolutionary, because they had such strong female characters where like you have Creamy Mommy and you had a couple of other magical girls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They weren't as, first of all, it wasn't as dark because Sailor Moon is dark as fuck.
Yeah.
But they also weren't as powerful.
Yep.
So Minako stood out with her art.
God, her artwork is like none other. Like even when she put out the new pieces for the museum, she still got it. Oh, so gorgeous.
Her artwork, I think she would have stood out no matter what. It was just like the perfect formula she was figuring out. But I still think Sailor V deserves to be up there with Sailor Moon.
Yes, truly. I'm not just saying this. Like it's under.
It has heart. It has heart in a way that you don't see in a lot of animes or mangas.
It's like it's even, to me, it feels even more girl power than Sailor Moon is. She's also a bit more positive, or she doesn't really have a lot of moments where she feels like she's gonna give up. I even said like earlier that it's fluffy.
It is fluffy, yeah, because she's always I'm gonna defeat the monster, and she defeats the monster, which is great until the monster says, it's not so great. Do we want to talk about the manga and how it was with it coming out with this moon?
Yes, I didn't actually know this until recently, because I don't remember if I mentioned this on or the podcast, but I didn't read the manga until whenever it first came out in 2011 or 2012, when they did the new releases. Blew me away. I knew it existed. I just didn't have translation access to it. Didn't really look into it. But oh my God, I was like, why did I wait so long to look into this? Yeah, incredible. Especially as a Venus fan. And I was literally just gobsmacked. Yeah. Found out that while this is a prequel, it did not come out before Sailor Moon manga. It came out at the same time. Excuse me.
But Sailor Moon took off and V did not.
Yeah, it came out like little bits at a time. So it was slow. I'm sure if you were a fan in contemporary with everything, you it was almost like, I would have almost been like super hungry for it. Like, oh, it's taking forever to come out, because I don't know how much of it they released initially. They released a bit initially. Started Sailor Moon. As Sailor Moon's happening, they released short little bits of it as Sailor Moon's happening. So you're reading a prequel along with what's going on. And I think that's such a cool experience. That would have been to experience the story, because then you're seeing these parallels that are happening, especially near the end when the cameos happen. You're like, oh my gosh, that's Makoto or Ami. How cool is that? If I'm correct, I think the final chapter of V came out after Sailor Moon ended. So you get that wham of an ending after you've already experienced how the whole story ends. So yeah, you experience the beginning of the Guardians while just having finished the end of the story. So I think regardless of whoever experienced that in real time.
Can you imagine like accidentally coming upon Sailor V and then continuing to sail? Oh, perfect storm.
Like, I'm so jealous of whoever got to experience that. Because I don't know. I don't even know if that was a intentional choice by Minako or her publishers, but I think it's a really genius. And it's also why it kills me that they didn't make this into its own show. It could have been so cute. I don't know.
We're lucky she finished it, to be honest.
Yeah.
We are lucky.
Sailor Moon took off and Sailor V did not.
Isn't that funny? It just random. But it definitely adds to the story in a way that nothing else did, I guess.
Because Sailor V was solo, while in Sailor Moon you had more girls to connect with.
Yeah, because there was
it was the power of friendship.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the perfect mix, is not just girl power. While Sailor V does have girl power by herself, this is about women coming together and fighting together and learning to be with each other, even though they're from different backgrounds and stuff like that. And that's why it's so powerful. That's why Sailor Moon becomes such a powerful statement, where Sailor V, yes, it was its own thing. It's a work of art. However, it missed a beat that Sailor Moon has, which is why I believe we haven't gotten anything. Is I feel that they feel that it's not going to touch as big in Japan because they don't care about us. They don't care about us overseas. We'll care about how well it did in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Sailor V did not do as well. Now, maybe they'll do it because they don't have anything else, or now it goes, hey, let's finally do this. Let's do 2 OVAs.
Like said in the chat, and I know Tekka some of these more industry involved facts, but I did know she's difficult to work with. And it's funny because so is Toei. Like they're both so I truly would be shocked if anything ever happened. And I can be optimistic, but
we can dream.
It's funny because they say she's hard to work with, but she had no problems drawing stuff for the museum. She had no problems drawing stuff for the Sailor Moon on Ice that was supposed to happen and drawing new pictures and stuff like that. So I'm just like,
yeah.
Toei is also to blame because they're just like, what can we do to maximize profits on this? And that's why Sailor Moon Crystal, we got bullshit because they wanted to be like, it's going to be internet episodes. I said, do you know how much money Sailor Moon makes you? Are you serious right now? I can understand if they did Sailor V as internet episodes. Do you know what I mean?
That's a little bit better.
I'm talking about money-wise.
Yeah.
Then you could have done Sailor V as the internet episodes that you give Sailor Moon Crystal. Because Sailor Moon as a whole would have made you the money. And then Sailor V would have just been a little add-on. That makes no sense to me.
They're so adorable. Have you seen the fan art version opening to Sailor V?
No.
There's a fan version, and it's really freaking cute. And do you care if I show you?
I want to see.
It's adorable. Let me find it.
How long is that?
Yeah, it's 7 years old, and this is a re-upload from a takedown.
Okay.
God only knows how old the original. Let's see. Let me.
Just where it could be bad.
It could be. It's really cute, though. Okay, can you guys hear it?
No.
No, and it didn't work last time on mine, so you might as well just play it. It's fine.
Yeah,
you just want to see the art anyway.
Okay. What could have been? I already like it. Man, this is great for a fan made.
Yeah, but I fixed it on the voyage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention she has a friend that looks exactly like
me.
Which is another parallel. Oh my God, look at him. But this guy is thin. This is good.
stuff from the actual anime to help them.
I do like her manga design better than her anime design.
He's loud as hell in my ears.
Oh,
There we go. What did you say?
Say it again?
Sorry, what did you say? I missed it. It was
I like her manga design of her outfit better than the anime, personally.
Yeah. No. And I love this opening, though. It's so good.
She's like a pop star idol. Oh, that's so good.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Put their time and effort into it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Wow.
It could have been.
Oh my God.
It's also dependent on toy sales. Unfortunately, Venus usually doesn't rank in the top 5, so they would balk at not having as strong of toy sales for a series just about her.
Yeah.
She's not top 5. I think she's 7 or something.
At least in Japan, I feel Sailor Mercury's very popular.
Yes.
Like, very popular.
Sailor Mercury represents what it goes on with schooling when it comes to Japanese women.
Yeah, very studious, and
she's very dutiful Japanese-based woman.
Yep. All right. And real quick, that video was Rack.83/ parenthesis Heathcliff. Thank you for the video. Make sure to link below in the description. But we are being told it is time for our break. So we will be back. Thank you for joining us again. And we are ready for the second half of this episode.
On break.
Yeah.
I went and got the Sailor Moon. So we can talk about Sailor V's intro into the main storyline.
Yes. Such an interesting intro because she comes at it. Here's the thing, for people who've never read the manga, it's like she comes out of nowhere. And she kind of, I don't know, does she seem bossy?
She comes across as she already knows a lot, and she's expecting everything that's already happened, and that you can tell she's already experienced, and she kind of says as much. Here's Artemis. We've been working together for years. Yes, I've been doing this, and it's really great to meet you all. She comes in as just this more mature, I've seen some shit guardian.
Her relationship with Artemis to me is really sweet because it's almost like a dad that really wants his daughter to do well, but his kid is just not winning the first in the race. But he loves her.
Their relationship is it's not so much like how Luna's is with Usagi, which is exasperation. But it's like that was tough, but we're gonna rally and get back in there, and
he have admiration for her crying. It was really cute. They have one of my favorite relationships in the whole anime.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I love Artemis so much.
Artemis deserves so much.
Because I feel like Luna's a little bossy, and she even gets annoyed with how sweet he is sometimes.
But really hot when he turns into a human.
But sorry, just saying.
Oh, like, you'll love my theory. So Mina has a thing for white-haired gentlemen.
Okay,
if you think about it, because Ace.
That's the whole thing with me too. I'll the one that you're right. Okay.
Don't worry, I speak for Artemis too. I'm like, get it, girl. He's hot. Go for him.
I don't know what it is about the white hair. Okay, continued.
No, we were just laughing because we were ranking all of her because Rini or Chibiusa takes right after her. All of her men are white-haired.
She learned from her auntie, don't judge.
She learned from auntie. She learned from auntie Minako.
Never put that together. They never put it together.
You think about what's his Pedodu, the little fairy boy from the third movie, and Helios. Our comments are right now a mixture of debauchery.
Listen, I too would fuck the Catman, okay?
Oh,
He's a very goited, showing his belly button.
God, that's so sweet.
Looking like a goddamn meal.
Okay, white-haired, especially if they have ears. Anime men. My Seshi Poo. Yeah.
The Shomaru. This stuff.
Yeah. Away from Kami-sama Kiss.
Oh, yeah. It's totally the one.
God, he's so hot.
Gojo. Kakashi. Listen, a list. and they all have white hair. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they're either white haired or dark haired.
So white hair.
It goes to Shomaru to Zayd and Ryerson from Fourth Wing. Okay.
Oh, okay. You got me there. I was like, not really darker. Oh, wait, never mind.
Okay.
I'm a terrible random.
No, Patty Ryerson, absolutely. Never mind.
All right.
You don't have a Shomaru cosplay?
I do. I get a lot of women when I'm in that cosplay. So you guys know, here's my Shomaru, and I pick up all the ladies when I'm in this because I've had people be like, "Sir, you're very gorgeous." I'm like, "Thank you." My voice comes out. People are like,
psycho when I see Shomaru cosplayers, but oh geez, that's awesome.
I flirt with a
and
lot
the nails. Also the nails. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's the nails. It's the little thing.
It's because I don't have acrylic nails, so I literally just did my stiletto nails, but in white.
It's the white.
So those are my those aren't press-ons. That's me.
Oh my God, Zen from a Snow White with the red hair.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's my
Shomaru.
I need to add him to my list because I forgot.
Yeah, don't forget. I was about to say, I'm like, wait a minute, there's still more.
Yeah, it's the white hair. Oh. Bonus points.
The Shomaru is my toxic, morally gray men.
I know. But look at him.
I know. I have a crush on myself when I'm in this. I look in the mirror like, damn, I look good.
No one would blame you.
All right, back to Sailor Moon. Let's see.
There he is. Look
how beautiful he is.
He's just so cute. The outfit may be questionable, but it doesn't matter.
Like, what's the leg strap?
Like, they're not holding anything up. Like,
no. What do they do on your planet? I have questions.
I still love him, though. I remember feeling weirded out by their human form when I was a kid.
Oh, even now.
It's just like, he even has a turtleneck, but he has his belly button exposed. It's just a funny.
Listen, the baby girl up there, you leave him alone. He's a funky girl.
Come out. Fully frack. Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, it is.
No, this t-shirt is not possible, but it's a choice and Naoko Takuchi made. Therefore, we cosplayers deal with.
I have seen a couple cosplays of Human Artemis, and they're always great. I saw one at Katsucon, and I was like, yep. I had to control myself.
I mean, I've thought about doing it simply because I can now.
Yeah. It's especially adorable. I'm going to flip to the very beginning of the Sailor Moon manga. Very first thing. So you can tell it definitely is meant to pick up off of having the audience having been introduced to V, which is why I mentioned earlier the codename Sailor V manga came out. A little bit of it came out before Sailor Moon did. So I'm going to hold up the page wording right off the bat. Sorry, it's backwards, but her mother on a school morning picks up the newspaper and reads Sailor V saves the day. And then there's my daughter.
Rest in peace, Usagi.
As she's like screaming because she's late. So right away, it sets up the scene and the juxtaposition between Minako and Usagi. And I love the Eternal Editions because of all the colorful artwork. On the break, I flipped through the first few chapters, and something I wanted to touch on. We talked about the arcade and the gaming aspect and how there's a Sailor V video game that comes out, and it's at the arcade that all the girls end up hanging out at after school and stuff. One of the really cool things, if you recall, is the console for the Sailor V game that they play all the time ends up being like their headquarters.
That's right. The entrance to the headquarters.
Yeah. There's this whole scene where they're hanging out, like all three Guardians and Usagi are meeting up to discuss some really serious stuff about the mysterious silver crystal and what everything means. And Luna starts to launch into what it is, what their destiny is, who sent her there, why she was sent there. And she talks about the princess and that she's from the Moon Kingdom, but she's talking about it. She doesn't know, no one knows that Usagi is the Moon Princess. They're all just talking about this princess, right? Yeah. And suddenly, Usagi just looks at the game screen and kind of gets like transfixed into it and is, wow, this game is so mysterious and V is the guardian of justice too, right? Do you think she's one of us? So it's like she's realizing, hey, is she like, does she need to be with us? Do we need to go find her? We used to see her in the news a lot, but she hasn't been around for a while. What happened to her? And Luna's, that's a good point. I should look into that. Like, you just now thought about this, Luna. Okay.
She's going to take care of Usagi. That I've enough on her mind.
I love that little tie-in there where, come to think of it, she could be one of us. And you know what? Where is she? She hasn't been in the news lately. So that just also shows what a huge part of the culture or the scene that V was a part of at the time. She was a really big deal. She was helping fight crime for a year or two before this point.
Which is crazy to think of her like dealing with the battles and getting hurt and everything by herself.
I know. Yeah. Like she had no backup. She gets her crescent moon wand near the end of the first, at least the first Eternal volume, which is probably like chapter 4 or 5. She's thinking about, hey, this crescent moon wand looks exactly like the one in the V video game. And she uses it like this, right?
God.
But in the work game. So that's
one brain.
So it's also like really hilarious. She's like, it's like the video game with Sailor V in it.
I love her.
A while later, like after everything
That's
happened.
why I am the way I am. I'm like, Usagi, please. Same.
Relatable, but okay. So they all, quite a bit later, this was after that whole touching scene where Tuxedo Mask saves her and takes her to his home. And she like wakes up in his bed and they have a whole conversation about like how they're not friends. Like they can't be friends or something like that. When I was a preteen, I thought it was so romantic.
I know. And then you look back on it and you're like,
he's not my enemy. Like she's just having this whole existential crisis about Tuxedo Mask and his true identity because they learn who each other is at that point. Anyway, so after that, they're back at the I love this. They're back at the arcade. And Luna is telling them she found this VHS, because this is how old this manga is. There's this VHS and it's brainwashing people, and it says Dark Rentals on it, so it must to this VHS tape. So you need to insert it into this gaming console that has nothing to do with VHS players, and we're gonna look at what it said. A gaming code. I built a VHS into the game arcade game somehow. And the whole thing, like, goes berserk, right? And suddenly, little Sailor V pops up on the screen, and she's like, what are you waiting for, Sailor Moon? That's a brainwashing video. The enemy has flooded the town with them. And brainwashing is the least of your worries. People's lives are in danger. And it's this little, like, chibi video game version of V, like, talking to Sailor Moon, and everyone's just like, what's happening? And they're like, it's Sailor V, and she's talking to me.
She's having a moment that scouts her and off her.
And I'm Sailor V. I'm like, Sailor Mercury's, is this subliminal messaging? I love this. It's so cheesy. So that happens. And at that point, Lunar figures out that it's almost like she's getting some kind of telepathic signal from the game console that, oh yeah, if I push these things, it opens up and we can walk into our computer room headquarters that links us to the moon system. It's so completely unhinged and berserk, but it's also amazing.
I love that.
They have this whole headquarter underground network in the arcade itself, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it's so futuristic and spacey.
Yes. So it's setting, all this big battle goes down at the end of this manga, and that's where Sailor Venus walks in. She comes in as this really dramatic silhouette, her and Artemis. And Moon's, wait, who is that? And of course, you as the reader already know, except she's not dressed as V, so maybe not, right? This is the first time she appears in her Sailor Venus. I'm going to hold it up. And I love this. Volume 2 of the Eternal Edition has this beautiful color page where she's
beautiful.
Like, she looks like, but it can't be. Just realizing how much she looks like V, but she's
Final form.
years as somebody else. But I don't know, I love the crescent moon on her forehead. I love her orange coloring in her bell. It's just such an epic intro.
And I like her decision to have gloves off.
Yeah, I can't get shit done with these on. That is so relatable.
Every cosplayer ever.
Yeah, exactly. I just love that intro. And this piece of artwork specifically, I think I stared at for hours because as a kid, it was just like so unbelievably beautiful. It's an image of them on the surface of the moon. And I don't know, it's still to this day just,
Oh, yes.
me. Like, it's so impactful with Venus in the background. It feels everything has come together. The storylines have merged.
She used to watch them from the background.
And you can literally see the
vivid.
sorrow in her face. The way she's drawn is so incredible. She looks sad.
She does. And
They all do, but it's just the most beautiful thing. So I just had to point that out.
no, you're right. And Celine is on the money there with what you were saying.
Because Venus
Yeah.
used to watch, and Venus was like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah,
I feel like the sadness
she
in that
was even
picture
like,
is because
you
she's
can't,
like, it's doomed.
you can't keep going away to Earth to see this boy. Like, you have to be a princess. Stop sneaking away to see this prince. Yeah,
Stop making me sad.
it's so good.
But also she's back. She's like, is this doomed to fail again? Please don't kill yourself on my sword again.
Oh,
What?
You're welcome.
Celine has to get one an episode.
We
Which
do.
makes
I
everybody
have
in
to
the room
rip people's
cry.
hearts out at least once.
Sorry, I keep making you switch. All of them are like, wait, Sailor V?
Even
No,
Beryl likes
this
to
point-
fuck.
They seem to At this point, they still don't quite understand who she is or why she's there, but they're like, oh my God, it's Sailor V. I love that moment.
Beryl's included.
And here, I believe, is the very last time that you see her presented as kind of in the rest of the story.
Where you see the silhouette.
Yeah, with her
Little eyes.
Yeah.
Which is such a deliberate thing, I think.
It's holding her little mask on this part. Yeah. It's this bittersweet introduction as a Sailor V fan.
Oh, it's so sad. It's saying goodbye.
Yeah. And she introduces herself here because Moon's going, red glasses. V-Chan, is that? And I think it's Artemis she is Princess Serenity. And Moon's Sailor V is the princess. So it's this whole epic deception.
Yeah.
But this is what V has been preparing for, is this. It reminds me, as I'm a big Star Wars fan, of like the mantle of the Queen Amidala's handmaidens take up, which is to protect her by being her, so that if anything were to happen, it would happen to them and not her.
Are you referencing the series where I swear to God I was supposed to read it?
Oh,
No,
no.
I'm going to be mad at me for not knowing.
Gosh, I even know the author and her name is owner of my brain.
It's Padme the Younger Years.
Yeah, she wrote I think there's 3 books.
Yes,
Series
3.
And the life of young Padme and her handmaidens and their relationship. And it's, oh my God, you're right. It's actually really similar. But the
Twins,
oh my God.
Stole
I'm having a
from
life
Sailor-
moment where my 2 favorite fandoms are intersecting. I have a ton
I was mentioning it earlier. I was like, we mean like Padme?
Oh, that's
It's
so
so
funny.
V knows who she is and who Usagi is. This is for her protection until she regains all of her memories. So at this point, no one really has regained all of their memories, because none of them really remember who Usagi really is, who Sailor Moon really is, and what really happened, and all the really sad, traumatic things that went down. And then at this point, Usagi realizes, oh, all the times that Sailor V in the video game seemed like she was talking to me was actually talking to me. V was using the video games to communicate with Sailor Moon. So that's actually pretty cool, right?
That would be hilarious. My life would be like, what is going on? Because I'm currently playing Strays, and I'm gonna be like, what cat?
Literally, this whole part, Sailor Moon is just, what? What is my life? And I love this whole intro because we talked earlier about how Minako's in the anime. She's like, hey, yo, it's me, Sailor V. But in the manga, she's so sweet, but she's elegant and serious, and
She takes her role seriously.
like she senses Tuxedo Mask is lurking, and she grabs her belt and she's like, who's there? And he's like, oh, sorry, it was just me, good old Tuxedo Mask, because she's just so on guard. She's ready to battle. This is Sailor Venus saying to Sailor Moon, I need you to remember who you really are. And it's her seriousness in this part that it's unlike the anime. It's very, you can tell, see how Mars and Jupiter are both having a moment where it's happening for them. So
it's apologetic almost for having to do it.
like she touches them, like she holds their hand and some stuff starts to come back to them. But then at one point she uses her disguise pen and takes away her Venus transformation and says, I'm Minako, I know, and goes into her real self persona for a moment. I'm just a girl like you. It's such an interesting introduction that is totally lost in the anime.
Yeah, that's her being vulnerable for a minute.
And I feel like she's been waiting, at least when you're that young, it feels like a long time, but she's been waiting so long for this moment to happen. And she's been so lonely up until this point. She says, I met Artemis, my partner here, a very long time ago. That was before I knew any of you. I became the guardian of justice, Sailor V. At first, Artemis and I worked together to solve the mysterious crimes that were breaking out all over Tokyo. In its lust for power, it set its sights on the sacred stone of the Moon Kingdom, the mystical silver crystal. So she's already been on this quest for so long without anybody else. She launches right into, we have to stop this from happening again. I can't let this happen again, because she's haunted by her failure in her past life.
Oh my God. When you think about it, to her, it's as fresh as a day.
Yep. She literally watched her best friend, her princess and future queen, her charge, trigger warning, but she watches her take the sword of the leader of the Guardians and her life. Think about how tragic that is to have memories of you're only a teenager and you're trying to keep it from happening again.
She also
that's why it's
very big on her.
Happy. Say it again, Celine. What'd you say?
She failed her mission.
Yeah,
and
she
that's
failed.
Something that like Sailor Venus was very big on. She always got stuff done.
She took it very seriously. Yeah,
and she failed.
People don't give Venus credit for being a serious character enough.
Like she literally takes on the blame for why the Silver Millennium ended. Like she takes on all of that.
Yeah.
So it's very sad. Like she's not a very happy character. Really.
No, she's actually a really sad, tragic character if you think about it long enough. But I love her so much because she's such a happy-go-lucky person.
I know, especially at least after the first arc ends, I feel like it does free up some of her burden.
Yeah, thank God Beryl's dead.
Yeah, because she is not in the picture anymore. I think it's okay. Even if there's other threats, we can face them together, but the one that caused our downfall in the first place is now gone.
Yeah, she's done. We can put it away and we can actually just be friends and have a good time. And then, nope, sorry. Hi, Alan and Nan.
Even make the point, at least in the anime, that it's, everything's wonderful and Earth is dead. Oh my God, here it comes. And just, can the Earth think saved for a day, please?
Go. I wanted to do a shout out to the fashion in general of Sailor V. The Sailor V casual fashion game is iconic. They're all dripping in labels.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
These 12, 13-year-olds, they're either in a school uniform or the most stuff that could pay for a lot of shit for a while. Questionable, but we can still appreciate it. We can wish it. And cosplayers, we can make it ourselves.
Or she does sleep a lot, like Usagi does too. Forgot about that.
She do sleep a lot.
Like in the nap and snack a lot. So that's another similarity.
What queens?
I forgot about this color artwork. She's like asleep dreaming, but she is dreaming of being a pop star as Sailor V, and it's super cute.
She's so 13.
And you could tell Artemis is
done. He was
But
done
it's
yesterday.
so
I love that.
The girl just wants to dream.
That's probably where they did in that little fan base trailer. That's where they pulled the Sailor V baby.
Yeah, that's the point. That's part with the microphone.
I was gonna say that fan-made trailer was fire. I'm like,
Phenomenal. Like,
the blueprint is done.
you haven't been fooled with that. It was excellent. We really talk about in depth anyway. I feel like I just want to encourage people to read the manga. But I don't know what her official title is, like the Superintendent General. Oh, yeah. Woman who works for the police, and her obsession with V is really fun.
So good. Her.
Like,
So cute.
hugs the posters and is like, oh, Sailor V.
She's
Beatron is
like the biggest fangirl.
She's like, I so adore you. And she somewhere, and I'd have to find it in all of this, but she has like plushes of Sailor V too.
Oh my God. I love that so much.
And this is a grown woman. So
yes, it's like a successful adult, and that's why we all can relate.
like they touch on the police being annoyed that this little kid was showing them up and doing their job for them so well, but also she's awesome. So the superintendent starts to be a fan.
And then I want to know why Minako does these outrageous shoots like this. Where she
Okay.
right?
Gosh.
Because look how pretty she is.
Sorry, I was looking really close. That's so cute.
And I was just like, oh my God, why are you not on a modeling contract?
That's the thing. At least Artemis kind of alludes early on, when you become fully into your role as Venus, the princess from Venus, you're supposed to be the most beautiful person or whatever, because you embody the goddess of love and beauty. No pressure, but I don't know. Maybe through those illustrations of her in the beautiful fashion, she's supposed to emanate that beauty, that standard of beauty.
Honestly.
Can't I find? I know they're in here.
No, it's just interesting to me because can you imagine getting all that thrown on you at 13, 14?
I'd be like, I have homework.
I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get through math.
Yeah. Wait a second. She sees someone who looks like, what's his name in the manga? Yeah, you're
Right? Yeah.
Is that his name in the manga?
Yeah.
Or it's different. I don't know if it's him.
In Deke, he's called Malachite.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
just the same
why.
thing.
Okay. They run into each other.
Really?
Near the end of the first volume, and I didn't read this week because I skipped it. But she's like, I have to at least ask him what high school he goes to. I wonder if I'll see him again.
Really?
You want to see?
God,
Good taste.
but
I'm gay. And
He's high schooler? What?
he's
but you see what the middle schoolers look like that she draws?
I know.
it's
It
her
kills me.
drawings.
I had forgotten that they ran into each other for a moment and that she was like, I wonder if I'll see him again.
They're so funny.
Yeah, on the end of your sword.
Oh my God.
That's bad. Okay.
Or
Every-
under a meteorite.
Every time Minako gets a little bit of happiness in life, something has to balance out. Usually it's her relationship.
Oh, he does
I'm
come
just
back.
mad that the four kings died. That's ridiculous.
She felt for me.
Everybody else gets revived, but not them. Such bullshit.
Yeah, Celine is very upset about that.
It doesn't make sense. If they were cleansed and they remembered, why can't Usagi bring them back? But all the scouts can keep coming back. Mom, you can come back. If they were heavenly kings, that means they had powers, which means you can bring them back.
I've just never thought about it before. That's such a good point. They could have had
And then
them.
there are rocks that Chibiusa sits next to and talks to like a crazy person. You did an episode about it and how mad I am.
We did a
that
3-hour
Ralph didn't
episode
remember.
about
But
it.
It doesn't make any sense.
About what specifically? That whole thing?
About the Shinto deserve better.
The fact that they don't come back. It makes
I
no
know.
sense.
It's
It
very
makes-
unfair.
Absolutely. Even future Tokyo, why weren't they there to be his guardians?
Agreed. That would have
With the kind of power that she has, she could have revived him. He's got the stones. He's got the rocks.
You're right.
And their
I
souls
literally never thought about it. That's
people talk to them.
Feels so unfair and really sad now.
Mamoru can talk to them, and so does Chibiusa. So I'm just like,
Yeah, that's not shy.
Does that mean that they're going through preschool all over again? Now I'm just having the image of the four of them going in like her backpack to preschool to have to go learn like yes.
and Mamoru's like, where are my rock?
Amazing.
Because the pedestal is just empty, and he's like, where are my rocks?
Oh my god, now I'm picturing it. It's great. Somewhere out there, Venus is it's not my fault.
Just, I don't understand it. Because then Venus could have gotten a man.
Oh my god, the comments are hilarious.
Oh my god.
All right. Apparently, this really through there aren't any sailor babies running around the palace unchecked.
You just said Loki, and then Tekka said, listen, we can't have four more idealized, useless men.
They weren't useless. They were more useful than Tuxedo Mask.
That's true. There.
Yeah, we can't be
None of them stopped the calamity from happening, so maybe they aren't that great.
They got brainwashed.
Like, they caused Sailor Venus to take it all on herself and blame herself. Where were they? They could have stopped it. I know they were brainwashed.
Being brainwashed by a woman.
No. Why are they all getting brainwashed so easily?
Yeah, why did they get brainwashed so easily?
Because they're Earthmen.
Yeah.
Not a reason. It's the Earthmen who get
There was no
getting
cause to
brainwashed.
that was amazing. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Useless.
Damn, you right.
Loki says, listen, they're not useless. They're pretty, so that's good enough.
I'm looking for that artwork,
Which one?
the colored artwork that has them all paired off together in their past life.
Well, I know exactly the
you
other
have
one.
one, yes.
I can find it.
It's with Usagi like on the moon, and Tuxedo Mask is like leaning over her, and then you got the scouts with their pairing.
So tragically pretty.
And people are like, why couldn't we have gotten that, Naoko? Come on.
As Tekka said, here is the technical word that I don't have on me.
And they got brainwashed by a peasant who thinks she's a queen. And they
Listen,
followed her into battle.
I like
You're
the
right.
vision.
Oh, see? Yeah, I love that piece.
I really do. Mercury with Zoisite.
Yeah, same.
So how
Mars.
cool would that be? It'd be a fun one. You
Bunch of
learn.
I like Jedi with Mars because I'm just like, Mars is walking him like a dog.
I always thought that was a weird pairing, but then I was like, maybe
Mars likes weaker men.
Maybe it makes sense.
He likes to be in charge.
Yeah, we all know.
After what's his face? The politician fucked her over.
Do you see Venus holding that crescent staff in that? I love that version in that artwork.
Oh, yeah, where she's hinting she's the moon princess.
It's just such a cool random detail that has some kind of significance as the story goes on.
No, it's really cute. Such a beautiful pairing. And honestly, I just love to imagine each of their pairings. It's so funny. Because Venus and Kunzite, those are two headstrong people going.
Yeah, makes sense. That's almost to a boring point. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I guess
They're talking to each other. Okay, next.
Next. Thank you. Next. All right. So then we just dog walking. Got it. All right.
Nephlite worships the ground Jupiter walks on. He is very much like
100%.
He's very romantic. He's gonna treat her right, give her what she deserves.
Date night happen.
Take her star watching and explain the constellations to her. That's what he's gonna do.
So he's a romantic.
And then Zoisite and Ami, man, they're gonna start comparing fucking notes. But they're also, but you know what? Them two are gonna be gossiping little bitches. That's what it is. Also, Ami just needs a pretty man.
And she got
like,
one.
I'm a doctor and this is my husband, and everybody what do you mean that's your husband?
Dr. and Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but to be fair, Tekka is right. Because the Guardians never get love lives. Venus even says so in the Stars manga that they don't need or want men. I will say that they get told.
I think Venus is just, I have to suffer this fate, so all of you have to suffer it with me.
Yeah, and he does.
Deserve a trophy husband. And Zoisite is definitely a trophy. He looks good on her arm because he goes, no, I'm the doctor's husband. It's not that Ami's his wife. That is, I am Ami's husband. He takes her last name.
I've found it.
Go for it.
That moment where Luna takes them to the moon, which is insane.
Taking the 14-year-olds to the moon. What can go wrong?
Takes them to the moon. Yeah, they form a circle and go to the moon. And they get there and see the ruins of the Silver Millennium Kingdom. And all of them are just struck by the desolation of it. They turn and see that there's this sword in the stone, which is very Arthurian kind of legend. Luna immediately is, okay, everyone, go try to pull it out. And Mars, Mercury, Jupiter all fail. And Luna's, come on, use your strength. Venus goes up and just pulls it out. And she's like, oh, I got it. It was no big deal. As soon as she pulls that sword out, that is what activates the hologram of Queen Serenity. So it's very symbolic of, because that was her sword in her past life, which was a symbol of her being like a leader of the Guardians. So it activates this little hologram of the queen, and and the hologram is weird. It's almost like it is her soul, like it is really her, because it has conversations as if it's like a sentient being.
Yeah, because they were like, it's basically AI. They programmed everything about her into this thing.
Yeah. It's like the
like poured herself
piece
into
of her. Yeah. So she's like explaining what that sword is, explaining who she is and how she is speaking to them through the castle's system, basically. And then just recognizing Serenity. And this is where she begins to tell the story. And this whole part is very heavy. There's this little scene that I'd adore where it gives this little tiny representation of what their relationship with each other was like, which is similar to how it is on Earth. But Princess Serenity didn't take her studies seriously. She wasn't quite as like klutzy and whiny as Usagi is, but she didn't really take her role seriously, teehee. And Venus was always like, okay, you need to be serious. Stop sneaking away to Earth to see Endymion. You got to be serious about your role. But I just love this little scene with Ami and her books, trying to get the princess to do her studies, and Venus being exasperated.
It's actually so cute when you think about it. All of them doing their own thing with her.
This whole chapter is very sweet and very heavy because it then goes into what all went down, how everyone perished, how tragic it was. Endymion died protecting Princess Serenity, and because he died, she felt like she couldn't go on. So she takes Venus's sword and ends her life.
Being super dramatic because she's
very Shakespearean there.
Yeah, she's just a teenager. She's overreacting.
And I have to find out to be sure, but I'm pretty sure the queen then says that she locks away their souls into the silver crystal.
I think, yeah, I remember that.
They're in a powerful thing.
It's a really powerful moment.
I think people don't. Okay, there's in the community, the nerd community, there are serious debates about this, but Sailor Moon is incredibly powerful. Yeah, not just any magical girl. She's incredibly powerful. She literally has the power of a universe on her side.
Yeah, the debate is if she's more powerful than Goku, and people are like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Is that even a question?
Think about it.
She could end the universe if she wanted to.
Yeah. It's terrifying, actually.
Yeah. We're just really lucky it's Usagi.
So that kind of concludes the tale of
Sailor V.
Becoming Venus, reliving her past, and then like an exposure therapy by visiting the scene of the downfall of everything.
Yeah.
And then having a representation of the queen that died retell the story.
We're together. Probably. Do we have to hear this?
Yeah, do we have to do this again? I know already. And one of the last scenes in this is Venus comforting a crying moon after the queen's hologram. It ends and disappears. And that probably is the last time she sees her mother. So
yeah, because I think the hologram says, I only had enough for this.
Yeah. Incredibly tragic, and that's what makes it so good, though.
Yeah. The tragic parts that really always stand out.
So that kind of ends her individual story and merges with the main storyline. And from that on out, it's very heavy on Sailor Moon.
But I think, though, that Sailor V did shape the Sailor Moon manga.
Absolutely.
I think that if you go back to it and you look at the stories, without one, the other would never have ended up the way it is.
Do you remember how Beryl dies?
Originally by Venus's sword, the manga.
Yep.
But in Kristen, it's not.
I said, it's fine, but that was her moment.
Shining moment.
Her moment of, bitch, this time, I'm not going to let you.
I'm so mad. I'm mad on her behalf.
I have the scene pulled up right here, but you would like to see.
Yeah, because it's bullshit. This is one thing I will never get over is Venus not getting her kill.
Endymion's fully being controlled.
Again?
Yep, she got him on his side. Okay. If Tekka's still there, you were right, okay? Maybe. No redeeming qualities. I just remembered this happened again. And Beryl's hair is wrapped around Sailor Moon and suffocating her.
Okay.
Strange. Venus is just like, that's it. I'm pissed. She says, you've made me really mad. And she calls forth the sword from thin air and summons it. And Minako tries to take it from her. And I don't exactly know why. I think she just saw her moment and tried to do it.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was Venus's desperation of, I can't let this happen again. So she just freaking goes for it.
And then she just nails Beryl.
Like,
boom. Girl.
As her moment.
It's her moment to shine, and I'm just pissed they took it from her.
I just think it's so amazing.
An amazing character.
And on the next slide, as her sword is... This is really gory, sorry. As the sword is in her,
yeah,
the sword is like giving off this ray of moonlight, and Beryl's melting, and she reaches towards the prince and is like, no, I wanted you.
Oh my God.
And then you see, there's this little illustration where you see Beryl back in the Moon Kingdom days, hiding behind a pillar and creeping on Serenity and Endymion and being jealous of their relationship. And how it festered into evilness in her heart.
Again, peasant.
Come on. Like wearing, you can tell she looks like an earth peasant.
She is a peasant. I was like, girl, you parasocialing because you a peasant. Don't like you. He's going to marry a princess. You are a peasant. Sit down.
What, you mean she didn't have a chance?
This ain't no Cinderella story. So sorry.
Wow.
Too funny.
Sorry, I'm reading. This is incredible. I forgot there's this whole part after she kills the queen.
No, the rereads always hit you different.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, Venus has this real moment of redemption that she longed for after her epic failure in their past life. Beryl just like fizzled into nothing and she's dead. I don't know if it's supposed to be. All of this text is in quote as if it's coming from the sword or it's coming from Venus, but she has no control over what she's saying. But she says this like epic thing, or maybe the sword does. She who would be queen says, that is the time when the mystical silver crystal hidden within she who would be queen will be set in motion in accordance with her wishes. With completed crystal in hand, awaken the magnificent power of the moon. Offer a prayer to the sacred lunar tower and restore peace to the kingdom. So it's like this big moment, and the power became too much for Venus and she collapses onto the ground. Really? The power of the silver crystal was unlocked from that?
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, she had a really big part to play in at least this battle because it had to do with what happened to their kingdom in their past life.
No, and I always feel like she's such an integral part. Not just because we have the customary villain that is like her mirror, and then they have to go up against each other. She's always especially her relationship with Usagi. Even in the start of the Sailor V manga, we see the start of it. Really think that Venus and Usagi have a really beautiful relationship.
Because they're friends. They at least become best friends and can be silly with each other. And they go to the arcade after school and stuff. But while also realizing they have a very serious duty in protecting not only the people that they love, but their planet and their universe. Very serious thing to have to confront together so young.
I wonder if Usagi allows Minako to feel young and have fun.
You know what? I'm sure that's a very purposeful choice in the way that Usagi probably grounds in the ways that they are opposites. I think Usagi kind of grounds her and reminds her that you're still allowed to be happy. You're still allowed to be a girl and to have fun. And like, it's okay to have days where you don't have to worry about being a Sailor Guardian.
Yeah, they can just be a girl and have fun or be who you want to be.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah. I need to do a reread. This is all just like bringing it right back.
No, it's it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, would you say Celine is a highlight of Usagi and Venus's relationship since Usagi's your favorite?
They're actually really close once the manga starts like really going. Because you have the moment, even in the anime, like when Usagi's hair grows out.
Oh, there.
Princess Serenity, and you have like their moments of them fixing her hair, cutting it,
Super maintain it. Yeah.
but Usagi and Minako, even in the anime, they're very close. They hang out a lot. They sit next to each other when they're in the cafe.
I thought you were gonna say detention.
There's a lot.
They giggle about all reaching.
Yeah.
Minako and Usagi like together and like doing their little things, like little poses where they're also very some of the art is very spicy between them because they're like holding one another's titties.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're best friends. They actually do have a lot in common, especially in the anime. They have very similar personalities. Minako is less of a klutz because she's on the sports team, so she's a very sporty person, while Usagi is not. But they feed off one another very well. And it's a really good relationship. And I think it's because Usagi had to be the leader of the scouts, while Minako had to be it when they were in the past life. But now Usagi is the leader because Usagi wasn't a scout when she was a princess.
Do you think it's almost like a weight off Minako's shoulders to not have to be the leader?
Because she's not the leader. Usagi is the leader of the scouts, not Minako. Minako is like her lieutenant. It's not her leading because before in the past life, it was them protecting the princess. So Venus did everything. And Serenity was just there looking pretty. And she wasn't a scout. She wasn't a warrior.
Different job in this new life. Yeah.
There's a different wave. And then, like I said, Minako just gets to be, she's very serious, but once she's with the girls, she gets to be herself. And she's not just Sailor Venus. And like I said, Usagi is the leader of the scouts, not Minako. She is the lieutenant when it's the new life.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when Usagi's not there, they all look to be
role. Yeah.
But that's, like I said, they have a very good relationship. They're best friends. They're constantly together, mainly in the anime, because in the manga, it's Mars and Venus who tend to share off more than Venus and Usagi. Because Mars is essentially Venus's lieutenant, because it goes Venus and then Mars when it comes to leadership. So
that's true. And they going down the water, so no, but I like the way that they end up pairing off in the manga too. Because he would have the ship burning love.
And he would have down the line.
They know that artwork with them on the bicycle.
Yes.
Yeah, that lives rent free in my system.
That's a great one. See,
I was going to say, in order of the way essentially the pack works, you have Usagi, and then it's Minako, and then it's Mars as leadership. Ami is the brains. She's not doing any kind of leadership. And then Jupiter is the tank.
Did the faction?
That's all because Jupiter and Mercury, they have specific jobs. They're not leadership. Well, Mars was, hey, we got to do this. But then when Nako stepped in, it was Mars letting it go to Venus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I like Tekka's comment.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I think in the OG anime, Usagi is the one who actively and vocally fights for Venus's right to be Minako and fight for love and fame, especially in the Stars arc. I feel like that becomes important.
There's like that just triggered a memory that there's like an episode about that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. I really need to do a rewatch. It's been a long time, but I feel like there was a one where
it's
basically encouraging her. She's like, hey,
is that the one where
for people, like, you need to achieve your dreams. Being a scout is not your full life.
I don't know if this was the one or if this is in addition to that idea, but that episode where she wants so badly to get her starseed taken because
no, it's not that long. I know exactly you're referencing.
So funny, but
I'll let you finish it. But it's so funny the way you're referencing.
Yeah, because she wants to, I don't know, be exceptional.
She wants her starseed taken because everybody else has had hers.
She's like, why don't they want mine?
My starseed's shiny and bright. What's wrong with mine?
Man, that just remembering all these little details. Oh, yeah. Thanks for pointing all that out, because that's a really part and a really sweet thing that Usagi does.
Oh, it's something, Minako, I'd love to get your opinion on before we wrap up for the night. What do you remember in the 4th season? I know it's obscure. Minako's mirror when they go towards Nehelenia to attack the castle. And because Mirror is saying, I'm trying to remember B for B, but it's or I might remember it. But it's something like, you could have been number 1. It was like that. It's like an interesting mirror, but it's like you wouldn't have had any friends, but you could have been number 1. And it's like the darkness. And to think that's like her darkest fear, but also like her darkest desire. It's so interesting to me.
Literally haven't thought about that in like the context of all of the fiction.
That's from my brain though. Like,
yeah, no, that's really good. I don't know, man. I think that's spot on.
Wow. It's just interesting, I think. Like, just I think Sailor Moon doesn't get enough credit for where it goes. You know what I mean?
The story in general, or the anime specifically?
The story in general. I think both the manga and the anime itself are both masterpieces in their own way.
Oh, yes. One of the best stories in existence. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't know. It's got it all. At least for me.
I know, right? I will gladly watch it over and over.
No, that confronting your inner demons, inner darkness.
Especially that episode, the way they animated where she's like crawling on top of her and she's like, you could have been number 1. And it's like the darkness, like,
it's so creepy.
Oh,
it's so good.
So fun.
It speaks to probably her role. I don't know how smart the writers of the anime were, but
they either accidentally hit a home run.
Yeah, it speaks to her role as maybe V and starting off being the only one. I don't know.
Yep. All right. And with that, we're going to wrap it up.
And this brings us to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us for the 12th episode of season 3. We'll be going on our next mini adventure in January with our special guest, Katie Cosplays, with a special focus on could the future of Sailor Moon be in live actions? This is a redo of our October episode due to where Katie Cosplays was where the hurricane had been hitting, and thus the internet was not working for her. So we're very excited that we're going to be able to do this episode. So please, let's do that episode. I'm so excited. We'd like to thank tonight's special guest, Lunar Lyn. Thank you for being here. So go ahead and please plug yourself.
Oh, Lyn. I'm mainly a cosplayer, but I'm a huge Sailor Moon fangirl, and I have been for most of my life. You can follow me. I'm mainly on Instagram, lunar.lyn on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Lunar Lyn Art, and you can find me under Lunar Lyn on most social media platforms. I'm usually just working on my next competition piece in cosplay, so come say hi.
Your next competition piece needs to be Sailor Venus trying to be Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I need to make that. That'll be a fun win, too.
That would be
Yeah,
like a monster, but it would be amazing.
I don't know how I would travel with it. I'd have to figure it out.
You
Oh
got
my god.
All right. Remember, Moonies, to follow us on all our socials. All those links are in our link tree in our description. Previously recorded Eternal Mooncast content is available on YouTube. Don't forget to turn on your notifications for Bishojo Senshi Slumber Party. They are currently in the Tree of Doom arc.
Oh, it's so good.
Get on it. And you can find reactions on our Patreon for free, but if you want it a week early, make sure you subscribe. Our next discussion episode will be coming out on December 14th. So thank you for joining us tonight, my friends. I have been your co-host, Celine, and you can find me on all my socials as Azira_witch. I stream on weekends as your next favorite magical girl VTuber here on Twitch. So yeah, you can find me all on there.
As always, I've been your host, Michi. You can find my personal socials at MEW21_cosplay for my K-pop reactions. Check out the K-pop Voyage. We appreciate any likes, comments, follows, or however you'd like to support our show. As a quick reminder, these have just been our personal opinions, and we celebrate all respectful Mooney opinions here. We're working hard on the show to be a place for Moonies to come together and discuss their theories and love and passion for Sailor Moon. Remember, as Sailor Venus once said, I'll throw you down with the punishment from love from heaven. Good night.
Perfect.